following material may contain sex, coarse language, and violence.
Bowie wowie!
Of course! Of course!
When last we left our gallant hero Saphiro, he had returned triumphant from easy moding a dungeon full of minis with one spell!
He is the constant that should defeat
because I was like, well, he'd be all alone and unarmored. I won't put in level 6 skeletons. They'll just be level 1s. It'll just be a time-consuming, slow-bleeding affair. And then he was like, hey, Nonny! Prithee, fuck you off and become bone powder! And then they did, and then he was like, and now, because my wiener knows no bounds, other boning? But he was denied, because this one-off character will never appear again in anyone else's secrets ever. It was like, no, you have no horns, and therefore I'm not a person. And Saphiro said,
yeah, right, proper man.
And he went back there with the guards, and he was demanded to return the key, which he never had, and come the house. But he basically was taken back to castle.
They sent him to clear it out without giving him the key.
Yeah.
They didn't give him anything.
Well, they unlocked it. I believe they unlocked it for me.
It was already unlocked.
Oh.
Okay. Because when we came back, the guards were just waiting there for us. So.
And so, moving up towards the great palace, it is light. Birds are tweeting in the trees, the moons are gone. People are cleaning up. There's some people, groups of people are happy because they've just basically spent 2 nights and days with long dead beloved grannies and relatives who are now back because they crossed over and won't return. So they've been happiness. But then again, there's murderers from the town square where they were executed. They're back too and loose because no one returned to the truth. In fact, there was a huge rip with a giant sucking force that was drawing things in, but a group of adventurers closed that rift, trapping things on this side of the veil. I wonder who those would be.
Who could have done such a thing?
Big
Not I.
damn heroes. I mean, well, 3 big damn heroes. One person has nice, clean, unculpable hands because he was sleeping and reading.
Try harder to make me
Show up so they can. I mean, I suppose I could have autopiloted you through with all of these rolls I have.
I was on
Because
holiday today.
so many times we were like,
I know.
man, if we
But
just had somebody who knew about magic.
Who can cast dispel magic?
But it's like, yeah, we didn't know that ahead of time. It's like, I think you'd mentioned you were taking 2 weeks off. You hadn't mentioned you were going away. Brought up to the palace, and the doors are opened. And so Bolslaw's there. He's like, I will take him from here. He takes you, and he's like, the Archduke has retired. You will be required to come back when he awakens. Guardsmen will be sent for you. He returns your gear. He returns your gear and your rat in a bag.
Scribbles, my little friend.
The sound of rattling bones and a dead squished rat are inside. So what we have here is Schrodinger's rat set.
If you just never open it.
Thank you. Your rat is alive! As it turns out. Oh, that's a hefty sound there.
Depressing empty couch.
Shows how much I love little scribbles.
I poured these out on my bed and had sex with them the other night.
Oh, jeez.
No, I think I want anything.
I've got all these silvers for leveling up.
No escape.
Scribbles, how are you? Are you okay? Oh, there. Come, we'll get you some nice cheese to heal you up.
He'll run up your arm and into your floofy man shirt, I guess.
Thank you. I shall see you tomorrow.
He'll watch you leave sadly knowing that you are going.
Well, I don't know that. So.
Saphiro struts gaily through the town, waving to various people, some of whom are in like way eldritch dress. Like those super huge boofy sleeves that used to be common in Burmania are back apparently, or at least on some people. And they're way shorter. There are people stumping around all over the place looking like weird and confused. There's like groups of soldiers and witchers going up to these out-of-place people and talking with them. You strut through the town up to the ruin of a mansion.
Oh, where did Saphira go? When was the last time I saw her?
When you were dragged away from the tomb.
Okay.
Who?
The
Yes.
yellow skins, yeah.
So anyway, you move... Oh, I was hoping it would be the next one. Yes, there's a huge stone gargoyle that they're picking out of a tree with long horns. And there's... The walls are sundered, half the building has fallen down. It looks like something really big was fighting something else really big here, and you guys all missed it.
I'm going to run up to, I'm going to see if I can see...
There's a big werewolf being slowly quartered and butchered with like nasty looking fangs and claws and that, and they're just like cutting it into little sections. And
What colour is its fur?
black.
Yeah.
Racist.
Okay, I'm gonna look for anybody I recognise. Who's important, like not just
I could
servant
use the
number
werewolf
3,
summoning spell.
but I'm gonna look for the counter. Any of my friends, see if they're around there.
Sir Radamir's there.
Ah, Sir Radamir, what happened?
Oh, it's good to see you back. You're well?
Yes, all things considered.
Stand up
That
from wherever
remains
I
to
was
be
sitting.
seen what's going to happen. I will be summoned again.
So obviously you're both also back.
We missed whatever happened here.
Looks
Think
like
that as well.
they were attacked by werewolves, judging from that
Hmm.
corpse.
It's
Whether
definitely
they
good we
were
weren't here.
came through the veil or something else, I do not know. There seems to be a lot of strange circumstances lately, even now with the moons having passed.
Yes. That only happened after we resolved our thing, right? That wasn't after the first... After we closed the rift? I can't remember.
The mansion wasn't fucked when we left.
No,
It
I
was
mean
a little bit damaged, but not this big.
Yeah.
I mean, it also meant the moons hadn't moved on yet, had they?
Well,
Yeah,
when
they moved on after Prime.
when we came outside, they had shifted.
It was already it was light when you came outside. If you listen to the notes, you can actually spot in the last segment the exact moment that the Prime bells rang,
No.
and the rift closed up and the veil thickened.
Because everything seemed to clear up after Prime.
Are you injured?
Very much so.
I can use my abilities once more, now that the moons have passed.
What did I get down to?
Yes.
That's
2! Oh wow.
Yeah, after the
Yeah, they.
those 10 hit points
You had
disappeared.
easy. Well,
That is 9.
He started and ended the session fucked up.
Drank so many potions.
I'm out of potions.
My thanks.
Ah, they gone now, huh?
We had a rough time after you were taken away.
What is... Are Sulan eaten? Where are they?
did.
They have not returned. I think they went to free Roya.
Ah. Of course. Of course Sulan would go and do that before I got back. I met somebody who might have been able to assist with that. But it looked if Sulan and Roy have already gone off themselves, then...
Hopefully it'll work out.
I hope so too.
What happened with you?
I was brought before the court. There was some questions. Somewhat of a... Well, there was a trial by combat.
Yowie wowie. That's intense. You won, I assume.
Once things were put in my favour, yes, you see, our good friend who wanted to take our money from us challenged me while I was unarmoured and unarmed.
There's no honour in that.
Exactly. Sir Baleslav took exception to that and intercepted on my behalf, and then I was armoured and armed, and then I dealt with him, so we don't have to worry.
Did you kill the fucking Viscount?
We don't have to worry about Viscount anymore.
So the treasure is yours then? Or some agreed upon measure?
Well, they believed the test wasn't quite enough, so I had to go in and deal with some skeletons in a crypt, which was actually not that difficult at all.
You spent your time in
So
the
they're
crypt as
still
well.
not satisfied, and are going to summon me again tomorrow for additional tasks, but
Of course.
let's just say that everything is not fine when it comes to the leader of this fair country.
You were before the Archduke.
And he is not himself. He's
Whoever
clearly
he
been
is.
he's clearly been poisoned and possibly even had some kind of, I'll say this quietly, magical interference.
13 guts land on your face.
Not my face!
Boy, what's that?
Oh, you don't say something magic.
What if we said that the Archduke was a spy? Do you think every Burman would kill him?
Most of the ones that they want him dead anyway, that's so obvious! Yeah, he's manic. Sees deceit everywhere.
So there's no
Flippant.
guarantee. There's no guarantee then that you will receive recompense after this event.
No, in fact, if anything, he seems to get more angry at the fact that the tests, I keep passing these tests that they give me. And the other nobility are not entirely happy either for the most part. Lady Sedate, in fact, was at least there and spoke favourably of me,
Yeah.
which was nice. But yes, everyone else... I
She is
think
at least well respected for being an elderly, well-read, perfectly normal woman.
I think most of the others there would prefer to see us, well, probably would prefer to see my head on a pike.
I thought it might have come to that.
No, they still have their rules, thankfully.
And their religion.
I mean, they are designed to keep you safe.
How are you, Adrian? Are you hurt?
Not in this room.
Oh, you're not.
If you guys are out the front, I am in a different room.
He'll
Okay.
be inside somewhere.
Where
in
is
the wall.
where is Adrian?
You must be inside. I thought I would take some air.
As much as inside is.
What remains of it.
Do you know if the Count is nearby?
Well, I haven't seen him.
I hope that it is not us that have brought this upon him, and is merely the moons. I'd hate to think that we've once again caused more problem for those who are only trying to help us. I'll head inside. I'll look for either the Count or I'll look for the Count and Adrian, and whichever one I come across first, I will approach.
Before you get inside, I'll grab your arm. Can you think of a reason Adrian would warn me away from one of your companions?
Anyone in particular?
We met a half-elf? I don't recall.
Seraphine?
That's the one. Inside the Draconin estate.
Ah,
To be fair, he warned her away from you.
Yes, I mean.
That's not what you said.
Yeah,
yeah,
You said the opposite of that.
You made it sound
Oh.
like he was
Told
he
us
was
to stay
telling
other
you
way
to keep
around.
away from
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
other
yeah.
way around.
Wait,
Be wary of her, basically.
Yeah. He seemed quite convinced of something. Tried to hide it, but you can't escape these. At least, not while you're standing right beside me.
So he thinks Seraphine should be concerned about you for one reason or another.
Little bastard.
You bear no ill will towards elves, as far as I know.
None against well, not because they are elves.
I cannot think of anything at this stage, but if something crosses my mind...
Must just be wizard treachery. So go back to cleaning blood off my axe.
Oh, and Scribbles is fine too.
Scribbles runs out of his armor. He's not wearing armor, so he doesn't.
Yeah.
Out of his clothing is just like, squeak. I guess I'll just leave him sitting on your shoulder for now. That way more things might happen with him.
Like he could get hit by a club or a rock.
Ooh!
Or an arrow bolt. Arrow bolt.
That's good too!
There's another rooftop assassin that shoots the rock
Same
first.
team! Especially Scribbles.
Yeah, no, it's definitely the
We
tower.
all have arguments with each other. We all get at each other's throats now and then, but nobody ever gets at Scribbles'
No,
throat.
Scribbles
He
is
is the universal love.
Yeah, Scribbles is the most loved member of our team.
Scribbles is love. Scribbles is
There is the
love.
least bad blood between anyone and Scribbles.
Well, maybe the werewolf, because the rat is a delicious little morsel.
Yes, she wants to eat Scribbles. But yes, I will. Scribbles and I will hit it.
As you go
And-
past it, just squint at Scribbles.
Scribbles is like,
At least he wasn't like.
Now there's a rivalry.
yeah, you're at the top of the ramp, and then the lights go out, and then Scribbles appears behind you and takes you down with the mandible claw.
Puts that little rat paw in your mouth.
Anyway, moving on. Next meme.
Yeah. Go inside. Well, sort of. I'm sure inside is also outside.
No, it's not. I just said half the place has
Yeah.
fallen down. The rest of it's structurally sounded.
Okay. And I'll search for either Adrian or the Count. Just look around and see who I come across.
Deep in the sub-basement, there is a library, which is where you find the first of the two targets you cared about. Which is him.
Ah, Adrian, how fare thee?
Sorry. Don't come any closer. You'll mess up the purification. It's good to see you.
He has drawn a circle in chalk on the ground and has a
I'll
and has
stop
a box.
suddenly.
Sorry, I need to activate the box.
I'll initially stop suddenly and then take a step back.
Oh yeah, box.
See, this is actually just what it is. It's
Sorry, what's going on? How are you?
box.
Are you in need of...
Really hope those batteries are replaceable.
Radomir gave me the gist of what happened.
The strange glowing blue box is the thing in the middle of them.
Are you
The
in need of
tesseract.
healing or are you fine? What's that?
That's what I'm trying to find out more
Okay.
on.
So, this is a box that glows.
He's purifying it with salt and water.
I'm trying to identify what it does. I think I have an idea of what it does, but I want to be sure.
Do you know if it's safe?
Maybe?
Did it do that?
No. That was like that when I got here. Very inconvenient.
Where did you come across that?
So we broke into the Draconin estate and went into the room that I couldn't get to in the dream world.
Radomir did not tell me that.
So in the... Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. I met Seraphine there.
He did mention Seraphine, yes.
Yeah, so she's in town.
That's good.
I told her
must
to
have
visit more.
Yes, I have to catch up with her. It'd be good to see her again.
Anyway, so we went into the chapel in the Draconin estate, and then down into a sub-basement, and it was filled with monsters. Skeletons that weren't really skeletons. Radomir had seen them before. When you hit them, they turned into zombies and then into people.
So they became more
Well, they gained
human
flesh as you
Well, we
interacted
came
with
across,
them.
You're their dream, make them real.
We came across similar creatures the other night when we... Well, you wouldn't seem to wake up.
These ones were way more depressing to put down though.
Sorry, it was...
But we found when we hit certain things they would grow more solid, but they'd still eventually die.
So it was full of that one lizard man, a snake.
Is this one of those Hero snake things, or...
I don't want to talk about what it was made out of.
Okay.
A wizard, 2 water elementals, and some creepy guy they were trying to let in.
Okay. But you stopped it, right?
Yeah, that's how I got this box.
Huh.
They were worshipping the box.
Were they saying anything? Was there any chanting you could
All I
remember?
needed to do was let him in. Let him in. That's what they were saying.
It did seem to be a common phrase being muttered on the last 2 nights.
Yeah. And Radomir and Seraphine almost died. Radomir almost died 3 times.
Wow. Well, I did just administer
Well,
some...
actually, he was almost dead when I met him, and then he almost died 2 more times.
Yeah, I did just heal him up there. Is Seraphine okay?
I healed her. I gave her a potion. She seemed to be doing fine. She left on her own.
Do you know where she went?
Somewhere we aren't, because whenever we hang out, she almost gets killed.
Oh.
This is factually true.
She
I
was
mean-
this close.
And some other times she eats psychotropic fruit deep underground.
That was a good thing!
As it turns out,
Yeah.
Not often that's the case.
She's an odd duck. What else
my
happened?
favourite characters that were generated.
Oh, Radomir thinks Sulan
No offense.
and Eaton are both going after Roya. Can you confirm this?
It sounds right. They'll be fine.
I hope so.
I believed you would be fine, and here you are.
Oh.
What happened to you?
So, basically, to save time,
You're
I'll
just-
basically
yeah.
say what I said
Yeah.
to Radomir. I imagine you'll perk up when you hear that the Viscount is dead. I imagine that will be the thing that gets the most attention out of you.
Killed the Viscount?
He
Yes.
died cursing your name.
An honourable combat.
With a club.
Eventually.
I don't think he could do anything honorable.
No, he didn't want to. He wanted to just kill me while I was unarmed and unarmed.
It sounds like the Viscount.
But then Sir Balslav intervened and he made sure I was armed and armoured.
He doesn't have an ear. That could be problematic.
Okay.
War of succession. Villages burnt down. Not that yours is there anymore. Thank you, witches.
That already happened thanks to the witches.
Anyway, I'll look to see if Radomir is there.
I am not.
Was Radomir acting really suspicious? Not this time you saw him, but the last time you saw him?
I do not think so. Oh, he was wondering why you said something about Seraphine should be wary of him.
I just told her to stay on my side, but it's because he was being really suspicious.
Do you think Sir Radomir's been
I
acting
thought he
strange?
might have been affected, but he told me what happened. I thought he might have been affected when he dealt with the rift.
Yes.
He kept saying...
Well,
He
was,
kept not acting like Radomir.
He wasn't.
You're never around him.
He was the one who was closest to the heart of it when the whole thing kind of
I mean, he was right in there.
He
collapsed.
Valiantly
He
heroing.
also jumped inside a water elemental in order to retrieve the staff.
Oh, I did that.
No, I was there. He did that.
After Seraphine did that.
No, Seraphine wasn't there either. You're talking nonsense.
Wait, This happened again?
Oh, I had a terrible idea.
Oh, boy!
So, we had the staff.
Uh-huh.
My idea was that if I used the staff, maybe it would be on our side. That didn't work out.
It
But
was an interesting hypothesis.
we killed it immediately, so it didn't matter too much. It was harder to deal with the one we didn't make big, actually.
So was this some screeching woman with who threw the staff at it and made it big, just like the first...
No, I did that. I
you
threw the
threw your
staff.
staff at it and made it big.
I threw her staff.
So she came back again.
No, Radomir had the staff.
Oh, this is the same staff. Okay, got you. I thought this might have been deja vu.
Were you shaken as a child, Saphira?
Anyway, it didn't work, but it worked out fine.
So I see. Everybody is at least alive, even if Sir Edamir looked like death out there.
A skeleton ate my sword.
I didn't know
I
skeletons
ate
could
that
do that.
Well,
Where did it go? I mean, there's no internal...
it went in, and then it turned into a frost monster.
The skeleton or the sword?
The sword was already enchanted with frost.
I choked the shit.
I
Well-
see. Okay, so what types of things do you think I should look out for when I'm observing Sir Edamir?
Yowie wowie.
I'm sorry?
He's been
The wizard
saying,
has said a suspicious thing. You are required to kill him.
Oh, okay.
he's been saying that. It's something only that the changelings were saying. Just
Well,
That's a great phrase.
he did exclaim that when I told him what happened about, fighting and killing.
he was also just aggressive on some things.
Maybe he hates wizards
And he,
And undead.
and werewolves.
I mean, he seemed
Must-
fairly normal when I was just speaking with him, but... Was he acting... This was when the moons was still out, right?
I haven't noticed it since then. I thought that's why I wasn't really dealing with anything.
I'm sure it was just a moon thing.
Well, I thought it might have been that it affected him, but once it closed, it didn't matter, so...
Yes.
He seemed to kill the thing at the end of the room quick enough.
The thing at the end of
The
room?
outsider.
The outsider.
Okay.
It was also odd. When you were killing things, were they going into you?
No.
So that happens to me when I kill things. But it was happening to Radomir as well. That's why I was also confused. He would... You know how I kill things and the
blood mists.
blood mists and goes into me? You've
Yes.
seen that? That was happening to Radomir.
Was he close to you when it was happening?
No.
Was he holding the weird staff when it happened?
Only a couple of times, but not all of them.
Well, eliminates that.
That's why I thought it might have been something to do with contamination from the rift. As I said, he seemed fine on the way back. He didn't do anything weird.
That said, I didn't actually end up killing a lot of things the other night when we were battling the creatures. Sulin and Radomir did most of the killing. And Sulin had things absorbed into that stagger of hers.
It's what that does, though.
Yeah. Even things you wouldn't think had a soul, like skeletons. She killed a skeleton, and somehow it...
But the skeletons
And skeleton.
Yeah,
aren't
but
skeletons.
they were different, because they were sort of doing what you said, but not... None of them became, like, fully humanized again, but they did start to grow more, like, skin on them, and
The
become
ones we
more
fought
solid.
became human and begged for their lives.
Wow, that's really creepy.
I mean, they just wanted a chance to live again, and you guys cruelly took it from them. I'd beg to, if I had a chance to live again, and it wasn't modern times where everything was super woke. So congratulations, you're coming back to life, and it's 2019. Yeah, no.
Can I
You,
come back to life later?
I'll leave you
1960,
to
please.
your glowing blue cube.
You suddenly remember that Adrian has a fixation with evil boxes that are bad for him.
Do you mind if I borrow that for a while?
You
actually
actually
can't.
can't touch it until I'm done with the purification.
Oh. But what about after that?
Well, then I have to... Once I know what it does, I can test it. And then, if it does what I think it does, I don't even know if I want it.
Okay. Never mind. Thank you.
What?
I was just testing a theory.
This isn't a Lamarckin box.
Ah, you picked up on it.
He's got a higher int than you,
Yeah.
Ross.
Sorry, I was just thinking of your own safety. That thing... Nothing personal, I mean, that thing drove everybody mad. That dwarf, for instance.
Remember that dwarf? How many years ago was that? That was
That was like
season
a-
one.
Like one and a
like
half.
a year ago. Well, longer than that, but I mean, it was even like about a year ago in game time.
You guys haven't been together a year yet.
No, that's
we're
true.
not.
I know, right?
I keep forgetting because we thought we'd passed the year and then it turned out we hadn't.
Anyway, there's some.
Turns out that's because I'm bad at naming months and that two of them sound really similar.
We found
Sorry.
an invoice for the army encampment. We don't have it. Seraphine took it, but it doesn't reflect how many soldiers they say is there. Not even close, and they're hoarding a lot of silver.
Silver specifically.
Like 2 ingots.
Yeah, it wasn't heaps.
Oh, was it
was
not?
2 ingots.
But they had a silversmith in a military camp.
Yeah.
Which I guess you wouldn't know is weird, but he knows is weird.
Well, I mean, it looks like werewolves attacked this place. But then again, those could have come through the thinning veil for all we know.
And they would have had to have known a week in advance to get the material in.
I mean, remember Roman was trying to create a werewolf army.
Was he?
Well, that's the thing, we don't even really know
I kind
what's
of
true
have a.
and what's not about that. Although that came from Eaton herself, so...
I kind of. That was when she was telling us the whole truth, though.
Yeah.
On that subject, I kind of have an idea if we do a second play. So,
Well, weren't you going to get Scribbles here to work on that? I mean, he'd started some preliminary stuff, but then the moon's hit.
What? The way the first one was written totally destroyed Roman's character, right?
Oh,
That
yes.
was a hit piece.
But what if we wrote the second one, in a way that made it so that it was obvious that we'd been misled about what happened in the first one? So if we made it that the party was being manipulated by the evil wizard, and that Roman was just trying to stop them, and that after dealing with Roman, the evil wizard intended to summon a giant bull to destroy the great cities of Romania. And Roman came and saved the day in the end.
Interesting.
And then
Roman versus the beast.
And
I
then
like it.
after the play was done, I hurriedly went to the Aldrin estate. I think that could have the sort of effect we're looking for.
Well, by all means, whenever you and Scribbles can get some time together to work it out. I mean, you're busy now with this, I see.
We would
but-
need to talk to one of the playwrights. I don't think Scribbles or I could write it in a way that it would be as obvious like the other play was.
Scribbles' work apparently did get heavily... In fact, I could see, because I copied it, to get heavily modified by the playwrights. And, in fact, a lot of the stuff... a lot of the stuff in there that was not terribly subtle at all.
Yes.
A lot of that stuff was, in fact, in the Scribbles' original version, was, in fact, either not there at all or was very subtle, but they ginned it up and actually turned things that we never put in there. They created things that happened to be true out of nowhere.
Yeah. Well, we need to make this one really unsubtle, because I think
Like
that...
that ridiculous love affair between the wizard character and the Sulan character. That's retarded, right?
Because I think the noble houses understand well enough, but we need to get the message across to the peasants. I just don't know where we go from painting me the worst villain.
Don't you just want to kiss these lips?